Hello, everyone. This is Ben Dunn, founder of Antarctic Press, a small publishing company established in 1985, still in business even today. Also, I'm the creator of such comics as Ninja High School, Warrior Nun, Marvel Mangaverse, and a host of other comics. So, I've been thinking about things as far as the comic industry is concerned, and I was thinking about the foundations of what it means to do a good comic. Now, the thing about it is that I've always believed that writing is the most important thing about any comic. It's the foundation of every comic that's being built on. That's the if you don't have a good story, good script, then your comic is built on sand. Basically, it's built on a very weak foundation. Where cracks will appear in the structure of the story will eventually fall. Now, a good writer to me says something, and a bad writer says nothing. The thing about it is that to me, your bad writing is basically a story that says very little, meanders, is boring, is doesn't it is basically a random hodgepodge of individual thoughts and ideas that may come to that particular writer, in which case he or she doesn't be able to form into a cohesive story that makes sense, or is agenda driven, or just obviously either agenda driven or so personal that it just no one really wants to read about someone's inner turmoil. If you're gonna write something about inner turmoil, just write an autobiography, for God's sakes. Write about but if you're gonna say something in a way that at least is entertaining. The whole idea between a good writer and a bad writer is that a good writer knows how to entertain. He knows things, how to do things in a subtle way so that he can express his ideas, he can express the story he's trying to tell in a fashion that people will be entertained by. That's really what it comes down to. A good writer can entertain, a bad writer is boring. And that's the thing, is that if you have bad writing that's boring, no one's going to want to read it. And that, to me, is the reason why a lot of comics fail. Is because there's really no thought put behind it. There's really no ideal put behind it. There's really nothing that will get people to want to return to read about that character or read about that story. I mean, look at comics that are very well written, and compare that to comics that are very badly written. Now, I will not profess that I am a great writer. I've never claimed to be, but I know how to tell at least a story enough that it will hopefully entertain people who read it. Because I know that that's my primary job as an entertainer. Is to be able to entertain. And if you're not writing stories to do that fundamental job of entertaining, then what are you doing? The whole question is that, are you really a writer? Or are you just a propagandist? Are you really someone who wants to entertain? Or you want someone who's trying to set an agenda? Now, I will be honest with you. Comics have always been agenda driven in some fashion, by writers, and but they do it for the sake of entertaining. Now, you can spread ideals and thoughts and beliefs, but you have to do it in a very subtle way that at least will entertain the reader and give pause for them to think about what they just read. If you bludgeon them over the head with it, people are going to say, "Well, that was painful. That hurt." I don't want to experience that again. The thing is that you have to. If you're a good writer, you do it with a velvet glove. You stroke it very gently. You do it very subtly, and you do it in a fashion that at least will entertain the reader. Saying, "Well, that was a really good story," and it got me to thinking about certain things that were brought up. That is a sign of a good writer. A good writer knows first to entertain and then lecture afterwards. Lecturing can come afterwards. A good writer knows how to lecture without the people being lectured to knowing that they're being lectured to. It's like almost like disguising a pet's medicine in their food because they don't realize that they're being fed medicine that's good for them. But they enjoy the food that they're chowing down. You have to let the people who are reading the story enjoy what they're consuming. If they're not enjoying what they're consuming, then they're going to reject it. They're going to, say, "Well, that was awful. That sucked. Why am I being, lectured to?" So I would challenge, writers out there to stop being bad writers and start being good writers. It's time for the industry. One of the main reasons I believe is the reason why the comic industry is failing is because we have bad stories. It comes down to a simple matter that if you have bad stories, no one's going to want to read it. It's just simple as that. And I don't understand the reasoning why, the industry as a whole hasn't grasped that. I think, things are starting to change. We're seeing a lot of independent creators realizing that they are out there to entertain and they want to win over an audience that obviously has been lost by the big two. And it's just, or at least provide an alternative. You say, like, "Look, we're here to entertain you. We want to tell you good stories. We want to be able to take you to worlds where you can lose yourself, attach yourself to characters that you enjoy, and be entertained." Independent. I see a rise of independent creators who will provide an alternative. The trick is to convince, those who are in the industry, comic book retailers, comic distributors, that they do provide an alternative, and they can be a bulwark against the collapse of the entire industry. If you have many creators who can work together to provide entertainment that people will like, then the strength will be in our numbers. Not in just simply one, gigantic monolith. So anyway, that's just my thoughts about good writing and bad writing. You can agree or disagree with me. I respect your opinion no matter what it is. Even if you're wrong. Just kidding. I'm just kidding, folks. I kid because I love. So until next time, this has been done signing off.